Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
It's a gorgeous night for baseball, and this evening we're in the Gateway City, and a homestand begins tonight in St. Louis. Busch Stadium is the scene, and close to 40,000 coming through the turnstiles this evening. Game one between the San Diego Padres and the world champion St. Louis Cardinals. And welcome to Cardinals Baseball with my partner tonight, Rick Horton. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us. The Cardinals are really in a rut right now. Just 2 wins in their last 10 games. Only 1 win on the road trip. You go back to the last homestand, only 1 win there, and this team is banged up right now.
Yeah, rough road trip in one way. They didn't win games, but they also lost 3 very key players. Alan Craig, Kyle McClellan, Lance Berkman, all lost within a 4-day period, not to mention John Jay. So the real remedy is for the Cardinals to get starting pitching back on track today and let them go through the rotation a couple of times with guys going 7+ innings.
And that means it's Jaime Garcia. He picked up that 1 win on the road trip at San Francisco. Will it continue tonight? He gets the San Diego Padres. Rick will break that down when we come back on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Midwest.
On track in this homestand behind Jaime Garcia in Game 1. Garcia threw a 4-hit shutout against San Diego last spring, and he was also very good against the Giants in his last outing with a career-high 9 strikeouts. Jeff Suppan will get a start in this series. When we come back, we're going to look at some former Redbird rivals turned Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest.
You set for the homestand. The Cardinals have found themselves with a handful of players who used to be Cardinal killers. But St. Louis figured out, you can't beat them, sign them up. Pat Paris has more.
David Freese grew up in St. Louis. He was a high school star, drafted by the San Diego Padres. Then the Cardinals traded local hero Jim Edmonds for him in 2007. Edmonds' career was coming to a close, but David Freese was a wild card, ranked only the 28th best prospect in the Padres farm system. We all know how that story ends. A World Series MVP, a hero. The Padres parted ways with Freese far too quickly. Freese never played against the Cardinals, but many of his current teammates did. And in 2012, the Redbirds are made up of several former rivals turned teammates and fan favorites. Among active players, Rafael Furcal's .344 average against the Cardinals is second in baseball. No active player has more steals against the Cardinals than Furcal with 15. And in the 2009 divisional series, Furcal's 6-for-12 performance helped spark the Dodgers to a sweep over St. Louis. Lance Berkman has 39 home runs and 118 RBIs against the Cardinals. Both are tops among active players. His 4.65 RBIs per at-bat is the third best against St. Louis in history. In 2004, Berkman hit 3 home runs during the NLCS, but the Cardinals would win the pennant. A year later in 2005, Berkman's 3-run blast in Game 5 helped the Astros get their revenge. From 2004 to 2008, Matt Holliday's time in Colorado, no one hit the Cardinals harder than Holliday. His .394 average in those 5 seasons was the best among Cardinal opponents. He once put together a stretch of 6 at-bats against the Redbirds, in which he went 6 for 6 with 4 home runs. Carlos Beltran nearly knocked the Redbirds right out of the postseason on 2 separate occasions. He had 4 home runs against them in 2004, 3 more against them in 2006. Fortunately, both times the Cardinals went on to win the pennant. But those 7 postseason home runs against the Cardinals are the most all-time, tied with Babe Ruth. Now Cardinal fans hope that these former rivals, now Redbirds, can help St. Louis return to the Fall Classic in 2012. A regular team of rivals.
out west. St. Louis finishing just 1-4 on the road trip. The injury-riddled Redbirds back at Busch tonight, ready to return to their winning ways. To do so, they'll have to forget about the past and focus on the Friars. San Diego in town for the first of 3 tonight. Cardinals have an uphill climb ahead of them. First pitch next, only on Fox Sports Midwest. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By your Mid-America Chevy dealers, the #1 selling brand in St. Louis. Find us at stlchevy.com. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake, just no equal. Tony West providing that shot just outside Busch Stadium moments ago. And welcome inside to the ballpark. And let's take a look at the Padres lineup. And going back to last year and again this season, it has really been a struggle for Bud Black and his club offensively. Denorfia will lead it off, followed by Cameron Maben and then Chase Headley. Alonso, the former Red, Guzman, Hundley, Amarista, Perino, and the pitcher Clayton Richard. And they'll get the lefty tonight, and that's Jaime Garcia. Rick coming off a very good start against the Giants.
He was very good against the Giants. The Cardinals have won just 2 of their last 10 games, and they need a good start from Garcia. 15 straight scoreless innings against the Padres. He pitches well at home. The key for Garcia is having good movement in the strike zone. No walks in his last start.
A look at the Cardinals defense, which has struggled lately too. Holiday, Robinson, and Beltran in the outfield. Carpenter gets the start at third for Kyle Green and Adams. Matt Adams making his home debut. Behind the plate, the Gold Glover, 4-time winner Yadier Molina. And the defense is brought to you by Dobbs. Going to see a lot of Matt Adams at first base, and probably sooner than some would like to have seen him, but because of the injury to Lance Berkman, Matt Adams will play an awful lot over at first base.
He's only 23 years of age, and he's had this really high trajectory over the last couple of years. He just keeps getting better and better, forced into action a little earlier than most would have projected.
Chris Denorfia is hitting .264, 1 home run, and he's driven in 6. One thing that we noticed in the last start for Jaime Garcia, velocity was not all that high, but it didn't matter because his baseball was darting all over the place. This will be backhanded by Green, and they just get him by a step. Lefty on the mound, and Tyler Green getting the start at second base. Brings in Cameron Maben. Maben this season off to a slow start, hitting just .210 with 1 home run, and he's driven in 12. Signed a 5-year extension in March, and really one of the only long-term deals that the Padres have made in the last handful of years. Ownership has been in a state of flux. They picked up Maben, who had a very solid year a season ago. He's been with Detroit, also been with the Marlins, and so much has been thought of him year after year. And they're thinking that last year he put it all together, but this season for Bud Black, it's been a struggle whether he's been in the leadoff spot or in this spot, number 2 in the lineup.
A struggle for Bud Black because there's 13 Padres on the disabled list, and Cardinals have had their share of injuries, but nothing like what the Padres have had to deal with.
We saw the Dodgers over the weekend. They're dealing with injuries. San Francisco, same could be said for them, so it's across the board. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Good news so far is Garcia has not thrown a pitch straight. Everything has good late movement.
There's that late movement off his glove, barehanded by Furcal, and it's a base hit for Cameron Maben. If he lets it go, it's one of those plays where you think, Rick, that Furcal would get to it and have a chance to make the out.
Furcal makes a decision that the only way he's going to have time to get Maben is to barehand it. Ball was going pretty quickly to him. Our Plaza Tire Service Foxmo shows the ball bouncing off of his palm. And he might have had time to glove that and throw it because he still throws very, very well, and he showed that off on the road trip.
Chase Headley, a switch hitter, their third baseman. For a while, they thought it was going to be Sean Burroughs that would be their everyday third baseman for years to come. That did not work out. It allowed them to make the deal for David Freese to St. Louis, who was buried in their minor league system. But Black wants to be more aggressive, saying before the game that they have to find a way to generate offense. Their lack of home runs and power is staggering in this lineup. One of the guys that you have to keep an eye on is at first base with good speed and Maben. Oh, and 2.
Good way, Dan, to counter aggressive swinging from the opponent is to throw a lot of changeups, and Garcia has a very good changeup. It's not always his best pitch on a given outing, but when his changeup is good, it's as good as any changeup on this Cardinal staff.
Maben leads their team in stolen bases with 13. He's been caught 1 time. They'll check on him. No balls and 2 strikes on the hitter Headley. We've talked a lot, Rick, about Matt Adams and what he brings to the plate. What about in the field defensively?
Well, there's not a lot of talk about him winning a Gold Glove. I think the verdict right now is that he's an average first baseman. Again, he doesn't have a lot of professional experience yet, just at 23 years of age. So I don't know that there's an immediate Gold Glove in his future.
Here's a high chopper to third. Carpenter to second. Out there on to first and safe. Adams trying to sell it to the first base umpire. That's Jerry Lane, the crew chief.
You mentioned the Cardinals defense has not been up to par, not classic style at second base for Tyler Green, and he does beat the throw at first. The Cardinals defense to me is one of those dominoes that falls after the starting pitching starts to struggle. I think the number 1 domino that the Cardinals have had fall the last couple of weeks is starting pitchers not going 7 innings, and that's hurt their defense. It's also hurt their bullpen.
Looking at the replay, throw will beat you, and routine plays in the major leagues, he's off the bag. Many times, as you know, Rick, it's just a matter of selling it, and a lot of times just taking for granted that if you're around the bag on a double play, you'll get that call.
There was a time where you didn't even have to sell it very much. It was just understood that that's part of baseball, is kind of the old neighborhood play. But with all of the replays that we now show, and baseball trying to be a little bit more exact about that play, they're requiring second basemen to keep their foot on the base longer. So the Cardinals do get a break there.
0-2 on Alonso. There's Bob Davidson, who had to serve a game suspension handed down by Major League Baseball. Balk and Bob. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Alonso fights it off, and that is a foul ball. Going back, Rick, to the double play and Tyler Green at second base. Remember, he was involved breaking up a double play over the weekend. And if you didn't hear about this, it was Mark Ellis who was the second baseman. He was shook up. It was a hard slide, and Don Mattingly said a very clean slide done by Tyler Green. Well, Ellis underwent an emergency surgery on Saturday on his left leg. He's expected to be out at least 6 weeks, but it could have been a lot worse. Apparently, if the surgery had been done 6 or 7 hours later, there was talk that he could have lost his leg. Scary, scary situation.
It's part of the reason why the neighborhood play was in vogue in the past, because it is a dangerous play. A second baseman can get his leg pinned on the bag, and there's multiple ways to turn a double play. You can come through the bag, you can go straight up, you can go back off, but your legs are very vulnerable, especially if the guy gets a good jump off of first base and he runs well.
They were told that the muscle may have died inside the leg if that surgery had not been performed. A check swing. It was a 6-inch incision on the outside of his left calf on Saturday, so they had to drain it. And clearly a scary situation, something you don't think about in breaking up a double play. I mean, that's the last thing you think about with Mark Ellis. Just thought, hey, injuries do happen, but nothing that severe.
Glad the doctors caught it.
Don Mattingly actually went and visited Ellis late on Saturday night after the game, and initially wasn't thought to be that serious, and then he said he started having a panic attack, so to speak, you know, with the fluid and the buildup and the issues in the leg, and then went back into the hospital, and that's when they had the emergency surgery. 1-2 the count on Alonso. He was part of a big deal with Cincinnati this offseason. Matt Latos went from the Padres to the Cincinnati Reds, and the big pickup for their rotation. And Alonso is a guy that was buried in the system of the Cincinnati Reds. He was behind Joey Votto, so we know about his extension contract, so that made Alonso expendable. Runner goes on a 1-2. Yachty down to second. Got him. The quick tag from shortstop Rafael Furcal. Bedley is thrown out. Cardinals tonight, followed by the third baseman this evening, Matt Carpenter, then Holiday, Beltran, and Molina. Adams, Green, Robinson, and Jaime Garcia.
Clayton Richard, 2-5 with a 4.94 earned run average. Pitches for San Diego here in game one, and he's a guy that really relies on having good control, much like Jaime Garcia. No walks in his last outing, so it was a good one. And he's also pitched well against St. Louis in his career, 2-0 with an ERA of just over 3. University of Michigan grad. But I'm sure there's no love lost between he and Mr. Matheny tonight. They'll talk about Michigan some other time.
Both attended the University of Michigan and Wolverines. Here's Rafael Furcal. Cardinals with two very good switch hitters in this lineup. You think about Furcal and Carlos Beltran. Among active players, Beltran is third. In hits, Furcal is sixth. But the big news is the fact that they lose a great switch hitter, and hopefully we'll see him at some point back this year, and that's Carlos Beltran with a guy like Berkman and with Holiday, you know, all three together. Here the Cardinals dugout, and Alonso has it for the first out. We'll look at the defense behind Richard tonight. Guzman, Maben, and Denorfia in the outfield. Pedley, Perino, Amarista, and Alonso along the infield. Nick Hundley is behind the plate. That's brought to you by Dobbs. Not exactly household names right now put together in this lineup for the San Diego Padres.
Well, we talked about all the players on the disabled list. Some of them aren't exactly household names either, but the ones that matter: Houston Street, Carlos Quentin, Kyle Blanks. Here's the location. He wants him to bounce this curveball, which he does. Now he wants to pitch up in the zone to change eye level, which he does, and that's a pitcher hitting the spot.
Hit to short. Perino makes the play. Carpenter retired, out number 2.
Richard has a bit of a herky-jerky motion, a little bit like Garcia, almost kind of a stop in the middle, and does not exactly look like a smooth left-hander, but he's been much better at home than he's been on the road, so that's good news for the Cardinals. That's our Toyota keys to the game, a 5.1 ERA on the road, and he's also given up quite a few extra base hits on the road. Throws fastball, changeup, slider, curveball, the typical 4 pitches. Throws fairly hard, but like a lot of the guys behind him, not a very good defensive player. He's made 4 errors, and he's having real trouble throwing the bases. And so I'd be surprised if the Cardinals don't have at least a couple of players in this lineup that don't try to bunt on.
It's amazing, isn't it? You can go to the mound and be pinpoint, and then all of a sudden you try to field your position. Just an easy step and throw to first.
It's almost become to the point of having the yips with that.
Sure.
For Richard.
Holiday, a ground ball up the middle and a base hit. A 2-out hit, and it brings it to Carlos Beltran. With all the injuries the Cardinals have had, and right now you can clearly see that Beltran has been dealing with a sore knee. They could ill afford to lose either Furcal or Beltran for an extended period.
You have banged up players who can't play, and then you've got banged up players who are playing, and that's what Carlos Beltran is. He is doing everything he can to provide some pop in the middle of a lineup that has really been decimated over the last 2 weeks.
And if not for Matt Kemp and the kind of start that he got off to, you would have to think that Beltran would be in your conversation for MVP thus far in the National League. He's been that good. But can he stay healthy and stay in this lineup? He's among the league leaders in home runs, RBIs, slugging percentage. Very deep for Carlos. And he pulls it foul and nearly got our friend Jose Oquendo.
a new camera angle for you tonight. Side view. This is how fast the bat goes through the zone. And that's how fast the ball gets from pitcher's mound to home plate as well. Less than half a second. And sometimes with the center field camera, it's very difficult to get a good feel for just how fast these guys are throwing.
3-1. They've told Beltran do whatever it takes to stay in the lineup. Be careful, don't get hurt. They need his bat. Spoils that pitch. Skip Schumacher on the road trip was talking about Beltran, and he said in 2006, 2004, he said it's the best player I've ever seen. I mean, that's making a statement. He's played with Albert Pujols. He said this guy, for short stints, best I've ever seen. And he draws a walk. Runners at first and second, and it brings in Yachty.
Yachty, one of those players that you hope helps pick up the Cardinal offense. David Freese has been struggling the last week or so, getting the night off in a surprise move with a left-handed pitcher, Matt Carpenter, getting the start at third base. That's just how bad David's going right now. But Yachty is certainly one of those RBI guys that you hope would maybe help pick up the Cardinal offense here now that they're back at home.
Molina hitting .299. How much do you think, Rick, guys like Freese and Molina put added pressure on themselves because of the injuries that this lineup has sustained?
Well, I'm sure their coach is telling them not to do that, but they're humans, and the more pressure you put on yourself, the worse it gets.
And that is a foul ball. Not by much. Foot or so. 0-2 the count on Yachty.
Sounds so trite, Dan, but a player's job is really to just do what he does best. And when there's a hole in your lineup, you can't do what Lance Berkman does if you're Yachty or Molina. You just have to be yourself, but very difficult to do when you know your club needs some offense.
0-2 the count. Some surprising numbers for Yachty in this situation. Runners in scoring position and 2 down. Big gap in the left center. Molina hits a fly ball that'll tail into right center. Maben is over. Long and lanky and speedy. Puts it away for the third and final out. Young fan and happy to be at the game. Summer weekend will be against the Cleveland Indians. So if you're thinking about coming to the ballpark that weekend, try out the dynamic deal. $20 tickets at Cardinals.com. Cards and Indians, and that's the Saturday game, June 9th. Just $20. Come on down to the ballpark. Jaime Garcia back to work. Remember, Alonso was left standing at the plate. He's starting to heat it up. There's a base hit into right. Second hit for the Padres as they throw behind, but he's back in safely.
Alonso now has hit safely in 20 out of his last 23 games, and he is red hot. And he's also hit lefties well in this stretch. University of Miami product, one of 5 on this Padre roster. Finds a hole, but I still like the ground ball.
Some of the bigger bats in this lineup have not had success against Garcia. And a balk has been called. I'm not sure if that was Bob Davidson that got him or not. He is balking Bob Davidson. And I think you can figure out why he's called that.
Jerry Lane is the crew chief. He's our first base umpire. And what does yeah, that's what he did. He started to come set. And he broke his hands and stopped his motion before stepping off.
One of the things you get concerned about with Garcia, just little things that can unnerve him along the way, and you hope that's not the case here.
Absolutely. I think he's gotten better at that.
I do too.
Still a ways to go.
Ground ball. Can they go to third? No. Furcal will go to Adams for the out. Turns out to be a productive out off the bat of Guzman. Mentioned that Maben, Hundley, Headley have struggled against Garcia, and our first bank first take. Well, how about this? Home runs this May, 5 a total, 58 runs. That's 30th. Slugging percentage at .324. Ugly numbers for San Diego.
Cardinals with good numbers. Folks may be amazed to see that the month of May has been so productive offensively for the Cardinals. Really, the last week has not been.
Infield is in for Nick Hundley. High fly ball into center. Robinson will get under it. And he makes the catch. Runner tags up from third and will score. It's 1-0 Padres. Hundley with the RBI, his 14th.
And the balk makes the entire difference with that run being scored. It would have been a double play off the bat of Guzman. But the balk allowed Alonso to go to second, then really heads up base running on his part too, to go from second to third on a ball hit to the shortstop. You've got to really trust your speed if you're going to take off with a ball hit to Rafael Furcal right at it.
Alexi Amarista, the second baseman. Recent promotion from AAA. Pulls it foul. Do you think Furcal had a play here at third base?
It would have been very close. Usually on a ball hit to the left of the shortstop, you can go, but to the right or right at him, you can't. That ball hit right at Furcal. He may have had a bad angle to throw as well because he charged that ball a bit. Runner may have right been in his line to Matt Carpenter, and he just decided to get the sure out.
The breaking ball slowly hit. Garcia off the mound. Throws, and Adams. Nice play on his way to his first Gold Glove, according to Rick.
Is that what I said?
Nice pick by Adams. 1-0 San Diego.
fields the ball and then makes this throw to first base. A long arm action. Pitchers are taught when you become an infielder after a ball is hit to you, and you have to have a nice, short, snappy throw. But Garcia throws that ball in the dirt. Fortunately, Matt Adams comes up with it. Padres draw first blood.
One thing about Matt Adams' major league debut last night, wasted no time. He was very aggressive early in counts. Breaks his bat and lines out to second. MLB.TV at Cardinals.com. Wherever you may be traveling, take us with you. MLB.TV. Numbers for Matt Adams pretty gaudy. He had over 30 home runs, over 100 RBIs last season. As you mentioned, a guy that when they drafted him, you know, you're taking a flyer on everybody you draft, but there's some you feel more confident about than others. Matt Adams was picked nearly 700th overall.
You have to give some credit to the scout that found him under a slippery rock somewhere.
That is awful.
I knew you'd like that.
That is so bad. He's from Slippery Rock University.
Well, there you go. But think of the scout that had to be out on a limb and said, hey, I got this guy at Slippery Rock. Where do you see him?
Low throw, and Green is out.
They may have looked at the size and maybe the bat speed. That's something that scouts really look for, Dan, is bat speed. It's one thing to hit a ball a mile, but if you're hitting the ball a mile on a pitch that's thrown 70 miles an hour at Slippery Rock, just because you're strong, that's not going to cut it at this level. You've got to be able to have quick hands, be athletic, and clearly a scout saw something in Matt Adams, and it's paid off.
Here's Shane Robinson. He's telling the story of Scott Van Slyke. And unfortunately, he got the Cardinals last night, but Scott said when he left John Burroughs, he was seeing guys throw 75 to 80. And then his first game in the minor leagues, he's seeing guys that are throwing 95. And he's thinking, how in the heck am I going to compete at this level? It took a long time, but congratulations to him and Andy, but he got the Cardinals last night. But that's what you're talking about.
No question. And really, the hitters will all tell you they can all hit at 5 o'clock. But when you've got somebody throwing the slider on the black and you've got to cover both sides of the plate, the pitcher's going to dust you off the plate and throw 195. I mean, that's a whole different ballgame.
1-2 here on Shane Robinson. Average has dipped to 259 after a very good start. And an error at short.
Cardinals have not played very good defense in the last week, but the Padres haven't played very good defense all season long so far. They are close to the bottom of the National League, and the speed of Robinson may have forced Perino to rush a little bit, but play has to be made.
Get Garcia through the lineup here. Jaime is hitting 263. No home runs. He's driven in 2. This is a Padres team that a year ago finished 5th in the National League West. They were 71 and 91. Not much is expected of them this season. We understand we're experiencing some technical difficulties, so we're working on that, and we apologize. But stay with us.
You mentioned that Richard has a very good move. He tries to kind of just hold his leg out as long as he can. And he's done a nice job of keeping Robinson close. I wouldn't think this would be a classic steal situation. You mentioned being able to get through the pitcher's spot in the lineup. You're thrown out stealing, then you have to lead off with your pitcher next inning, so I doubt that Robinson will go.
It's a very good move here by the lefty. Comes to the plate. It's a swing and a miss. Strike 2. Opponent has scored first in 9 of the last 11 games, and for Mike Matheny, quite the test now with all the injuries and the team in a rut.
No doubt.
Garcia strikes out. Jim Hayes will join us coming up next inning. We'll talk about the future of Lance Berkman. What lies ahead? Hayes is with us as we move to the 3rd inning. The story when we got to the ballpark today, the future of Lance Berkman. And what do we know, Jim, exactly what has transpired with his knee injury?
Well, he had the MRI on that injured right knee, and the results show a meniscus tear, not an ACL, which would have been considerably more serious. So the Cards say Lance will have the knee further evaluated in Vail later in the week, and they'll perform a scope looking for further damage.
Here's a ground ball that's hit to 3rd, and Carpenter makes the play. For those that didn't see it over the weekend, we were in Los Angeles, and fairly routine play here.
Shocking, really, when you see just takes the throw from Furcal, and then something happened. Lance said he felt the knee slip, and he said he's been feeling that for a long time. Even in the postseason, he felt the knee slipping a little. It's been a stability issue all along. Lance thinks it still might be an ACL. He's hopeful it isn't, and he'll wait for the test, but he just wants to know why the knee had felt like it wasn't stable for a long time, and he doesn't think it's the meniscus. But again, he defers to the experts and the guy in Vail he has experience with, and so they'll get to the bottom of it.
And he has had, what, multiple knee surgeries, too?
2 knee surgeries on each knee, and so probably more experience than he wants, and you almost become your own doctor at a point and say, you know, I know what this feels like. And again, it really puts the Cardinals in a bind offensively. They've had a number of injuries during the week, Jim, and he's one of those guys you just want to have around.
Yeah, aside from his offensive production, which is vital, just his presence in the clubhouse, especially when things aren't going right.
That was the next question for you, is who takes on that role of a guy like Berkman? And as we've all seen, this is a very tight-knit group. But Berkman was able, at down situations, I'll never forget, this time last year the team started playing better baseball, but against the San Diego Padres. Remember, Cameron Maben hit a home run off of Ryan Franklin. That first week of the season, everybody's up in arms thinking, well, how bad is this team? And Berkman, along with Tony would come out and just say, it's 1 week. You might remember that famous press conference, but Lance also said, relax, everything's going to be just fine. So who takes over that kind of role?
Boy, I don't think one guy can do it. I think everyone has to step up a little, and there are a bunch of leaders in that clubhouse. Guys like Matt Holliday, maybe a little bit more vocal. But we know Berkman has called meetings. He's been the calming influence when things aren't going well.
A look at David Freese, the former Padre farmhand, for Kyle Carpenter and Holliday coming up. Glad you're back with us as Garcia makes that play. Our thanks to Mark Grant and Dick Enberg. We understand that they were on Fox Sports Midwest and helping us out. And so we're back. It was all this material I had for the bottom of the third specific for this game that I'll never ever be able to use again.
That was good stuff too.
It was some of the best we've had all year.
I'm in tears over here.
Fans were jumping for joy. The sound was down, Rick.
I'm sure a few were.
1-0 pitch is hammered out to right center field. Robinson on the move. He looks up and it's off the wall. He plays it perfectly and fires a strike back into the infield. Chase Headley with a 1-out double. And it brings in Alonso. Mentioned that Chase's counterpart, third baseman David Freese, is not in the lineup tonight. 3 for his past 34.
And struggling bad. And I think Mike Matheny was wondering if it was getting in David's head. So much of the game obviously mental. And I think Mike just wanted David to get away from it.
We understand that some of you are receiving our feed, so welcome back to St. Louis, along with Rick Horton, Dan McLaughlin with you. And the Cardinals trail by the score of 1-0. The first pitch by Garcia is lined out of play by Nick Hundley.
Difference in this game is a balk to Jaime Garcia. Otherwise, we'd have a 0-0 game. That came in the Padres' second.
This has been the Jaime Garcia we expect to see. Very good here at home, and following up a very fine start against the Giants. Have you seen the movement that you saw the other night?
Absolutely, and also the control. No walks for Garcia. He has a couple of strikeouts, and for the most part, he's kept the ball in the infield.
2-2. Redbirds have been out hit in this ball game, 3-2, and trail 1-0. Hundley has the lone RBI with the sac fly to center. That would score Alonso. Here's another fly ball to center. Robinson, one away. For those of you that are just joining us, this could prove to be the play of the night. Let's hope that's not the case, and it's the balk by Garcia that you just spoke about.
And this leads to a run. Garcia gets his sign from Molina, fastball away, and actually comes into his glove, but his glove is closed, and he wants to step off, and just kind of a misstep for Garcia. Instead of just coming set and then stepping off, he basically just kind of missed the ball in his glove. I didn't see anything happen at the plate that sometimes causes a pitcher to jump. Dan, sometimes it's the umpire waving or a batter stepping out. That was just all Garcia.
Popped up on the infield for Cal, 2 away. The shortstop Perino is a switch hitter. The 8th place hitter will dig in with 2 down and nobody on. And that's strike 1.
There's movement and command of the strike zone with that fastball. Garcia down in the zone. I think he can pitch up when his movement is good. Garcia, one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, keeping the ball in the ballpark.
There's a liner to right and a base hit. Brings in the pitcher, the 9th place hitter, Clayton Richard. Richard struck out his first time. Rick, you talked about it. You can look at the injuries as to why the Cardinals are now in this funk, but also you mentioned the starters not going deep into games, and Mike Matheny has seen one starter that has completed 7 innings in the past 10 ball games.
And that's Jaime Garcia. That's 2 times through the rotation, only 1 pitcher going that deep. And what that does, Dan, that's the first domino that again hurts the defense as well as the bullpen. The bullpen being asked to get too many outs. You're dealing with just 1 left-hander in the bullpen now. You've also had the injury to Kyle McClellan. So you really need, if you're Mike Matheny, your starter to go 7+. That's just one of those major problems. The other one is the injuries that's hurt the offense.
0-2 pitch to Richard. He waves at it. Strikeout for Jaime Garcia. Sends us to bottom of 5. Jaime Garcia. Cardinals half of the fifth, and they trail by a run, 1-0. Garcia on the first pitch puts it in play. Deep in the hole, long throw, and they got him. Nicely done it short for the first out.
And a chance of being an infield hit. Garcia gets out of the box from the left side. Strong throw. Bang, bang play. And when a pitcher runs that hard to first base, you always kind of hold your breath a bit, hoping that he hits the base properly and doesn't strain something. We've had enough of that in the last week.
Well, Clayton Richard is a 28-year-old lefty from Lafayette, Indiana. He was part of the Jake Peavy deal in 2009. Came over from the Chicago White Sox. There's a strike two for Kyle, 0-1. Last year he made 18 starts. He went 5-9. An ERA that was under 4. 2 outs.
And he was also a quarterback at Michigan, one of the very few two-sport players that they've had at Michigan. He played both football and baseball. And he was the best football player in the state of Indiana in his high school senior season, and thought maybe that was going to be his future. And interesting to watch him pitch because he's kind of a herky-jerky motion from the left side, and kind of hard to imagine him throwing a football that way.
Football is more from the ear, like a catcher.
Certainly.
Slicing out to left center, and this ball will get down. Ground rule double for Matt Carpenter. You know, you mentioned that Freese is clearly struggling. He's 3 for his last 34, but the byproduct of Freese not starting with the lefty on the mound is the fact that you have a lefty-lefty matchup in Carpenter.
Again, you'd think that wouldn't go the Cardinals' way, but Carpenter has shown that he can hit left-handed pitching. Stays in very well, drives this ball the other way. And he's held his own offensively as a Cardinal. I think his defense has been certainly a downgrade from David Freese at third base, but his offense has been good.
Here's Holiday. Takes ball 1 outside. Cardinals have stranded 5 tonight. They mustered only 3 base hits against this lefty. As a matter of fact, as you told us, Mr. Football and Mr. Baseball out of the state of Indiana. He threw for over 10,000 yards. He was the backup at Michigan to Chad Henne. You might remember him.
He was also the valedictorian. I'd say probably a pretty popular guy at his high school. What do you think?
McCutcheon High School. And Rivals.com had him as the top prospect in football. Once at Michigan, he didn't play his first year. He played spring football. And then stuck with baseball as Holiday flies out. 1-0 San Diego. Jaime Garcia back to work as we move to the 6th inning. Seven hits aside, we're in the top of the 6th. Little chopper that's pulled foul.
Jaime Garcia deserving some credit, Dan, because we talked quite a bit about his ability or struggles at times to not be able to overcome adversity, and he's certainly done that. He had a balk, which led to a run early on, but he's been nails since then. Hasn't let it affect him one bit. Padres have only managed 4 hits.
Forced strikeout for Garcia.
Really brings his arm behind his body. It's not what you would teach a pitcher to do. You don't want to have the ball go behind your body. If you're looking at him from straight on, it means he's going to have to do some work to get back on top. But it works for him.
Two away. Chase Headley is 1 for 2 with a double. No balls and 2 strikes.
Reds lead the Braves 4-1. Game's in the top of the 9th in Cincinnati. Cardinals a half game ahead of Cincinnati. Cardinals have been in first place since day 1. That's in jeopardy tonight. Not that that matters now. Cardinals certainly want to right the ship.
And another strikeout for Garcia. 1-0 San Diego. 6 innings and 4 hits. Richard 5 innings, 3 hits, and Hundley with the lone RBI tonight with a sac fly back in the 2nd inning. And here's Carlos Beltran. Beltran stands in at an average of 289.
Cardinals have not been able to center many balls against Richard. He seems to have them all balanced with his off-speed stuff, his curveball and his changeup. Both been effective. And just not a lot of good swings. You can see where his herky-jerky delivery, Dan, could be kind of rough if you're having troubles with your own timing at the plate. You could make that worse.
Here's Molina, who is flied out to center and also grounded out. Both pitchers have been around the plate basically the entire night. And there's a liner and a base hit.
Classic Yadier Molina going with the pitch. His pitch is down. Goes down and gets it and drives it the other way. You have to get your first major league home run sometime.
Why not now, huh?
Just a thought.
Adams only hit .237 against left-handed pitching at AAA this year. But that's not many at-bats to go on.
Numbers overall, 340, 10 homers, 27 RBIs. And what he showed us in spring training, Dan, was very good power the other way.
Cardinals actually felt that they could have brought him up not too long ago, but forced into it now. That's a double play ball, 4-6-3, and we head to the 7th, 1-0 Padres. Top of the 7th, and it's a 1-0 lead for San Diego. Rick Horton, Dan McLaughlin with you, Jim Hayes as well. And Yonder Alonso, the first baseman for the Padres, leads it off. Outstanding director, working very diligently and hard once again tonight. Tom Mee. Our producer is Mike Helling. Tim Garcia here in the booth doing something. And our wonderful crew. 2 balls and no strikes.
This is the magical inning, Dan, that we were talking about during the open, is the importance of Garcia getting through 7 innings. The offense really hasn't done much to help him, but what he's doing is not only keeping his team in the game with his nice performance tonight, but also lowering the number of innings that are required out of a kind of beleaguered bullpen right now. 74 pitches for Garcia.
Right, 21 balls. The bullpen has been scored upon, Rick, in 12 of the past 13 appearances, and there's a rope into right field. Over to get it, Beltran, and Alonso stops at first base. So that stat tells you exactly what you're talking about, the fact that starters don't go deep, and then you have the bullpen maybe being just a bit overworked.
Well, and sometimes that overwork issue becomes one pitcher not doing his job, so then that forces another pitcher to do more than he normally would do, and then it becomes kind of contagious in a bullpen. So you can get a hot bullpen, they can turn that around in a hurry too, but the best way to turn them around is have your starter go 7.
And that's a base hit into right. Alonso stops at second base. Runners at first and second. Nobody down. They're in the top of the 7th. Here's Nick Hundley, runners at first and second. Beautiful bunt here. Garcia, only play is to go to first. He decided to pick that ball up with his glove. Dangerous play. And the runners advance to second and third. Hundley with the bunt, and now a chance to pad the lead. Big at bat in this ball game is right here.
Game on the line. Even though you're already trailing. With the offense struggling as it is, Dan, you just can't afford to give up 2 runs. 1 would be bad enough. Garcia needs to pitch here.
Infield is drawn in. Amarista swing and a miss. He's 0 for 2. He's bounced back to Garcia and also popped out to short. And the squeeze is there, and it rolls foul. Interesting to do that with a left-handed batter. You don't see that very often, Rick.
No, you normally don't, because you've got that ability, if the pitcher picks it up and sees it, to throw a ball high and away, and you can still kind of tag the runner coming home. But he didn't give it away early enough, the runner. Perfectly done by Alonso. In fact, he almost runs into Molina on his way to the plate, and that ball's fair. It works.
Is the only way you can do that with a lefty at the plate when a lefty is on the mound, in your opinion?
Yeah, and the left-handed pitcher is not going to see the break. Really, Dan, if you break at the right time as a runner at third,
shouldn't be seen by anybody.
You shouldn't be seen by anybody.
Right.
It should be too late for the pitcher to be able to make an adjustment.
Really, on that play, the pressure is all on the hitter, just to make sure that you make contact, stay out of the out, and get the ball down.
Get the ball down on the ground. That's really, if it's foul, it's foul, but don't pop it up. And don't miss it.
So you're just saying don't mess up.
That's right. Simple.
Here's the 0-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Garcia. That's where the lack of experience right now is showing a little bit in this lineup, bottom half for San Diego.
Well, you've got a guy that's really been overmatched here against Garcia, and you're sacrificing in front of him, which certainly leads to some questions for Bud Black.
So you have Richard on deck, and Cardinals will intentionally walk the 8th place hitter, Perino. And Mike Matheny did this the other night in a move that did not pay off. Fernando Salas was on the mound, and Salas then would walk in what would be the winning run. On paper, it seems like the right move, Rick, but, well, you know, you've been there before. Now the pressure is all on Garcia to throw strikes.
Yeah, but you've got a guy that's been throwing strikes in this game, and I do like that. I like the move, and really it's just up to the players to execute. And really, it's always that way, Dan. You may say that a hit and run or a squeeze was not a good call for Bud Black. Well, it wasn't a good call because it didn't work. But if he gets that bunt down, it's 2-0.
Right.
Padres, and players, you know, still responsible. The manager goes with his gut, knows his players better than anybody.
And I was about to say, he knows his personnel.
Totally.
He knows that Amarista is a guy that probably would struggle against a good lefty like Garcia, so why not put the ball in play with a bunt?
But again, it does beg the question of bunting in front of a guy that's going to struggle against Garcia.
Good point.
Don't play around with him. Get him now. Even on the 1-2 pitch, you really want to strike there, Dan, because of what you were talking about. The stress level gets elevated when you've all of a sudden have to throw a 3-2 pitch with the bases loaded.
Furcal bats with the Cardinals, holding runners at first and third, and a runner at third for the first time tonight.
Yeah, that one might have. It's had a good chance of costing him the ball game there.
Furcal has fouled out, grounded out, and grounded out. The middle infield is a double play depth. Tyler Green with great speed over at third base. Jaime Garcia off to a 2 or 3 step lead at first. The pitch by Richard, outside and low, ball 1. Have you ever wanted to announce the Cardinal lineup at Busch Stadium? Visit a St. Louis area Great Clips for details. Your chance to be an honorary PA for a day with Cardinals public address announcer John Hewlett. Great Clips, it's going to be great. 1-0 on Furcal. The pitch by Richard. Upstairs, ball 2, 2-0. Green started off by singling up the middle. Robinson, little swinging bunt, a tap on the right side of the infield. That moved Green to second. Then Garcia hit a ground ball to the hole at shortstop. Knocked down by Perino, but no play. The pitch, a swing and a line drive to right field. This is going to get down. The game is tied. Here's Furcal taking the turn at first. He'll stop on to third. Jaime Garcia, first and third, 1 out, 1-1 at Busch Stadium in the 7th. For Furcal, RBI number 21.
Boy, he's done some job this season, hasn't he? He hit a good pitch, too.
Right fielder Chris Denorfia couldn't get to it on the fly, but Denorfia was able to hold Furcal to a single. Now let's pause for station identification on the Cardinals Baseball Network. Mott picks out the sign he wants, working from the first base side of the rubber. Time call now at the plate. The Cardinals got 2 in the 7th to take the lead, but the Padres have answered with a pair of 2-out runs in the 8th. Here's the pitch by Mott. Swinging a foul back. 92 pitches, 63 strikes for Garcia. Indeed, a quality start. 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs. An intentional walk and 7 strikeouts plus a balk. And Zepchinski faced 1 hitter, a run, and a walk. A pitch outside, ball 2 to Hundley. Mott is trying to keep the score at 3-2 San Diego. Beltran, Molina, and Adams are coming up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Daniel Descalso came in as part of a double switch. He's batting 9th. The pitcher spot is number 2 in the Cardinal order. The pitch by Mott. Swung on and a high fly ball right center field. A play for Carlos Beltran. He makes the catch. The damage has been done. 2 doubles, a walk, 2 runs scored. The Padres have stranded their 6th. The Cardinals are looking up at San Diego again after 7.5. continues to throw in the bullpen in left field, backing up Andrew Cashner. The right-hander is ready from the belt. The 1-1 pitch to Adams. A swing and a foul ball out of play off to the left. Cashner is 25 years old, 6'6", 200 pounds. From Conroe, Texas. Lives in Montgomery, Texas. He was acquired from the Chicago Cubs. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss. Adams strikes out, going after a high fastball. 4 strikeouts for San Diego pitching, the first of the night for Cashner. And before Greenbats, let's pause for station identification on the Cardinals Baseball Network.
Energizer has been part of the St. Louis community since 1986 and is once again proud to power and light the Cardinals' path all the way through the season. That's positive energy.
Cardinal Baseball on KMOX HD, KZK HD3, St. Louis.
John Rooney along with Mike Shannon, Busch Stadium, downtown St. Louis. The Padres lead 3-2. Here's Green with a high fly ball. Deep right center. It has a chance to go. It's a goner. A 2-run homer for Tyler Green. His 4th of the year. And the Cardinals go back in front.
What a big base hit that is, huh?
Whew. What a lift for this club. And for Jason Mott, who will go to the mound in the 9th. With 2 outs, Green goes deep to right center. The ball cleared the wall in between the Bank of America and Hardy's signs out there. 4 homers, 10 RBIs, a 3-hit game for Tyler Green. Shane Robinson. He takes ball 1 low from Cashner. Here's the wind by Cashner and the 1-0 pitch on Robinson. Swing and a ground ball foul back of third down the left field line. Now the Cardinals are back in front. 2 runs for the Cardinals in the 7th. 2 for the Padres with 2 outs in the 8th. Then 2 for the Cardinals with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. 4-3 Redbirds. They've out-hit the Padres 9-8. Now the pitch. A swing and a fly ball right field. The play for Denorfia. He has it. We're going to the 9th. Let's hold him and go home. Mike will tell you about it. On the home run by Tyler Green, the Cardinals go back in front of the Padres after 8, 4-3.
All right, guys, bring it in. It's been a long winter, but Major League Baseball's fine.
for San Diego in the ninth inning. Scotts believes that everyone should have a big league lawn. It starts by feeding your lawn with Scotts, just like the pros do. For a big league lawn, feed it with Scotts. It'll be Amarista to lead it off. They're in at the corners, first and third. Back at short. And a fastball is a strike call, and we are underway. 3-8-1 San Diego, 4-9-0 Cardinals. Redbirds have left 7. They've stranded 6. The Cardinals trying to break a 4-game losing streak. The delivery. Upstairs, ball 1.
Will Venable is going to bat for Perino.
He's been swinging a hot bat. Venable has. He's on deck. And the next is high from Mott, and the count goes 2-1. Mott delivers, and a foul goes into the seats and out of play. We're in the ninth. Cardinals up 4-3. About hit the Padres 9-8. This game tonight is brought to you by Budweiser, the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, fast finish. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. And the 2-2 pitch from Mott. Way outside. Full count. Certainly don't want to walk the tying run aboard. Mott has a record of 2-1, and he's looking for his 8th save of the season. The 3-2 pitch, swing and a foul. We'll do it again. Mott's getting it up there about 92 miles per. So Mott would get the win here if it stays like this. Another 3-2 pitch. Headed home. Swinging a ground ball. Oh, nice play as he leaps, gloves, throws, skips. 1 down and 2 to go. Here's Venable. And we'll have
John Baker will bat for the pitcher.
Another pinch hitter in Baker. Venable. He walks in with a 2.66 average, 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in. Left-handed hitter. He's ready, and so is Mott. Third baseman is Descalzo. He's in as the pitch goes outside, ball 1. Holiday, Robinson, and Beltran are deep in the outfield. They give this left-handed hitting a Will Venable right center. Infielders about straight away, and the 1-0 pitch outside on the corner, and the strike called. We're even now at 1-1. And the pitch, swing and a miss, and he has him backed up now with a 1-2 count. On the air tomorrow at 6:20. Play-by-play at 7:05. Valquez and Wainwright will hook up. And a 1-2 offering now. Venable swinging a line drive off the pitcher to the shortstop. The throw over. He got it. I think they might score at 1-6-3, don't you?
I do too, Mike.
And there are 2 down and 1 to go as Baker walks in. And this crowd of 40,000 plus come to their feet. Redbirds need 1 more. Baker hitting .256, no homers, 4 runs batted in. And 40,000 plus come to their feet. And Mott comes to home plate. Swinging a high fly ball to center field. That should do it. Cardinals break the 4-game losing streak, win it 4-3. We'll have more for you next.
This So let me get this straight. U.S. Cellular gives you reward points.
Uh-huh.
Just because you're a customer.
Uh-huh.
And you can use them for free accessories.
Uh-huh. That's how I got this.